If you're looking for a keynote speaker who can kick your conference off on the right note, you want Sarah Michel.
If you don't think that your network's important to you, and I know I'm preaching to the choir in this room, for your business and career success, I can tell you from my personal experience now, you might want to think about improving your network for your life. So I have 3 questions that I call the connector questions I want to leave you with to think about. Think about the people that you have met today. And there's new members here. There's people that you're sitting with at the table. Maybe you've seen their name. You've never had a chance to meet them. Just pick 3 people today that you've met or maybe gotten reacquainted with and ask yourself these 3 questions. How could I be a resource for this person? How could this person be a resource for me? And what am I willing to do to strengthen this relationship?
If you're looking for a speaker who will focus on the real reason people come to meetings and conferences, to expand their network and make new connections, then you want Sarah Michel.
And there's the wake-up call, people. The people that you live with, the people in your neighborhood, the people you work with on your team are probably not going to provide the resources that you need at the time you needed them. It's going to be the people that they know. It's not who you know, it's who they know that makes the difference. That's the strength of weak ties. That's where the world starts to get really small. And we don't allow ourselves to experience that if we don't reach out and ask. But it does take that stepping into the abyss, following the energy of yes, and it does take a conscious effort to build that network and looking for ways to bring value to people around you.
Sarah is an expert on the art of connecting and the author of Perfecting Connecting, a guide to mastering networking in the workplace, and the national audio program, Learning to Speak the Language of Others. Her articles and inspirational stories have appeared in numerous books, newspapers, and journals.
So I get on this vascular surgeon's schedule for Wednesday to have this biopsy. Tuesday night, 4:30, the phone rings, and it's the receptionist. I'm so sorry to call and tell you this, but you just been bumped off the surgery schedule due to an open heart case that took precedent over your tumor. So, hey, relax. Don't worry about it. We don't do these surgeries only like once a week, so it'll be another week before we can get you in. But we'll talk to you next week. That didn't work for me. Once again. At the kitchen table, I looked at Fred and I thought, okay, who do we know? Who do we know? Who do we know? Connect the dots. And I'm thinking, vascular surgeons. Now, I don't know about you, but, I don't play bridge with those people. I mean, I don't know one. I've never met one. I don't even know what they look like. I mean, I didn't know anybody like that.
Sarah Michel is a certified speaking professional, awarded by the National Speakers Association for her ability to consistently deliver her message with high energy, humor, and inspiration, which motivates audiences to take action.
Who was most likely to succeed? Anybody get that? Oh, right there. Do we have a most foxy? Some of you remember the 70s, right? That was the category, most foxy. Well, my unsophisticated classmates 30 years ago didn't realize I wasn't gossiping. I was networking!
Her programs are highly interactive, using creative metaphors and exercises such as the domino effect.
The most powerful thing that I give my audiences, and that what I hear from them months later has made the most impact, is when you can practice what I call intentional connecting. And so I want to talk to you about that today and then give you a chance to do it. A couple months ago, I was speaking at a Women in Business conference in Denver. And I finished speaking, and I had to pack up my stuff. And by the time I got into the ballroom, the luncheon was already in progress. Matter of fact, they were going on to the second course. I scanned the room. It was crowded, like a conference like this. I saw one seat open. That's all that was left, about 20 feet away. I ran over, grabbed it, sat down, never wanted to miss a free meal, and began to dig in. And I started to kind of look around the room. The women had already met at my table, just like this, table of 10. And I'm starting to look at the name tags and nodding. And I get over here, and the woman right next to me, I read her name tag. And all of a sudden I went, Dr. Diane Stone! And I screamed it pretty much that loud. And she looked at me and said, yes? I said, don't you remember me? You delivered my first daughter 14 years ago here in Denver. No, I'm sorry. I don't remember you. Now, this busy OBGYN has delivered a lot of babies, seen a lot of women in 14 years, and she really had no clue who I was. But she said, tell me something about you that will, trigger my memory about your delivery. I thought for a minute. I have a note, and I want drugs now! Oh, yes, I do remember you. You're the drug note lady. We laughed about you for years. And all of a sudden it hit me. I said, what are you doing on a Wednesday at a Women in Business conference when you're a busy OBGYN? What are you doing here? She said, well, funny you should ask, because, you know, I have been thinking about becoming a speaker. I've been thinking about speaking as part of my practice on women's health issues. Can we say hot flash? You know, things like that. That's the kind of stuff I wanted to start talking about. And so I looked at this brochure and I thought, maybe I would go with the intention of trying to meet some of the speakers that might be at this, maybe make a connection and just see what it would take for me to start adding professional speaking, because I have so much to say about women's health issues. Now, one chair open in the ballroom. I'm the past president of the National Speakers Association. I mentor new speakers. What do you think the chances are that I can help her? How that happened was Diane had an intention. She woke up that morning. In fact, she said her alarm went off. It was actually, Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. And she thought, what am I doing? Why am I doing this again? How many of you had that same thought? At 6 a.m., why am I doing this again? And she thought, when she woke up, she thought, what is my intention for what I want to have happen? She put it out there. She fired it up in the satellite dish. Divine intervention stepped in, whatever you want to believe, but I believe that, and I sit next to her.
Sarah Michel is an international speaker who works with organizations and associations, creating behavioral changes by teaching people how to intentionally connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime through her Perfecting Connecting keynote and training programs.
No, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. I really envied stay-at-home moms. I really did, who do the hardest job in the whole world, staying home and raising kids. I mean, I bow down. I just bow down at that. It's so amazing. I really thought I should try to do that. So I left my job that I loved and where I was really good at, and I did this. I stayed home, and about 3 months into this self-imposed lockdown, I decided that my daughter was coming home with a little friend from a play date. She was in kindergarten. My oldest daughter, Taylor, was in kindergarten. She was 5. And her little friend, Katie, was coming over. And I decided if I was really going to be a stay-at-home mom, one of those really good moms, I needed to make homemade chocolate chip cookies. Now, you already know I don't cook, but I went to the store with my little 3-month-old before the girls came over from school, and I bought everything you need to make homemade chocolate chip cookies. And it was just like, you know, just a setting out of a book. You know, Taylor's at this little picnic table I had in the kitchen with her little friend. They're coloring. And I ripped off the plastic off the roll, and I'm slicing and baking and making sure those like homemade chocolate chip cookies, right? And I'm slicing them, and you know, it's just like Norman Rockwell. And I overhear Katie say to Taylor, "Does your mommy work?" "No." "Does your mommy work?" "Yeah, my mommy works. We have a nanny. Do you have a nanny?" I'm thinking, here it comes, out of the mouth of my babe, I'm going to hear her say, "My mommy doesn't work because she loved me and my sister so much she quit her job. She left everybody she loved. She was getting paid all this money. She doesn't make any money anymore because she only cares about my sister and I, and we are going to grow up to be perfect, confident, wonderful, contributing adults because my mom sacrificed everything she loved." I was waiting for this, and instead, out of the mouth of my babe, I heard, "No, my mommy doesn't work." Katie said, "Why?" "Because she doesn't have anything else to do." So, network for life. Don't just network for the moment, because you never know when your life will depend on it. Thank you.
If you're looking for a keynote speaker who can kick your conference off on the right note, you want Sarah Michel. For more information, contact the person who shared this DVD with you.